Fans should panic right now about Pelicans. No. The Pelicans. Because not only is this team bad, their #1 pick is too. Zion Williamson is finally on the court consistently averaging 24 points, but with really disturbing signs. This is a classic example of how overrated points per game can be. The fact is, Zion does not contribute to the most important stat, winning. This video explains what Zion needs to fix, or the Pelicans' master plan is screwed. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. Hit subscribe and notification bells. 100,000 subscribers. I am so grateful for every single one of you. Next week, we will have that 100K announcement. For now, hit me up on Twitter at Casey Kiernan. I like going back and forth with you guys during games. The AM Hoops podcast drops every single day at the same time. In case you miss a video, also say what's up on IG at AM Hoops. The sad thing is, Zion used to be a two-way god with range. That kind of player is so rare. Guys like LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan could score on and defend the other team's best player. That is why Zion was the most hyped prospect since Anthony Davis. At Duke, his defensive highlights were as exciting as his dunks. Remember this cross-court flying closeout block? Well, that guy is not on the Pelicans. Right now, Zion is so bad on defense, teams go after him. I was watching the loss to Utah last week. Zion got scored on almost every play at one point. He's such a disappointment that the Pelicans' entire plan could be ruined. We'll explain how bad Zion actually is on defense, plus his other main flaw. But the Pels are screwed if this continues. Brandon Ingram looks like a future superstar. Zion was supposed to make a big two that free agents would love to play with. Now, instead of New Orleans being the most exciting young team, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant is actually winning games for the Grizz. The way he closed out that win against the Suns was electric. Just one game after returning from an awful injury too. The way Zion has looked makes New Orleans wish they would have drafted Ja instead of him. And I know right now people are going to argue, 24 points a night proved me wrong, but here's why that is overrated. Zion is struggling in two areas. The first is defense. That Jazz game, a perfect example of how bad he is everywhere. He can't guard inside or outside. So this is our first thing that makes you go, Things that make you go, Opponents are shooting 71.4% whenever Zion contests a shot within 6 feet of the rim. That is embarrassing. He's literally one of the worst rim protecting bigs in the league who gets minutes. So his teammates have to do all the defense for him. New Orleans has been outscored by over 12 points per 100 possessions whenever Zion plays without Jackson Hayes or Steven Adams. The problem, of course, is NBA offenses are too smart for that, and if Zion's out there by himself, they will find him. He's just too heavy and slow, and teams exploit it. This is a look at the player the Pels thought they were drafting versus who they actually have right now. Zion averaged about 1.8 blocks a game at Duke, but under half a block in the NBA. He averages 4.5 defensive rebounds per game, equal to Zach LaVine, worse than Brandon Ingram, who's often not around the rim at all. And the reason that's such a big deal is winning requires defense. I know 24 points per game looks really good in a box score, but it also leads to guys being overrated. Casual basketball fans love a guy who scores a bunch of points, but hardcore fans know there's a lot more to a winning player. We mentioned that list of good NBA defenders. What about bad ones? Carmelo Anthony, D'Angelo Russell. Historically, we could go, Vlade Divac, Jimmer Fredette, Stephon Marbury. You could easily name this list most overrated. Zion Williamson has a chance to be on this list if he doesn't get in better shape and defend. The frustrating thing is, we know he can, or do we? Zion was doing all this against 18 to 22-year-olds at Duke. 99% of those guys will never play in the NBA. It is possible he was just a man amongst boys in college, which made him an overrated draft prospect. Now, defense is only one red flag so far. The other is his overall offensive game. Zion has not developed on offense. All he does is score in the paint, get 1 or 2 impressive dunks per game, and offensive rebounds. I mean, what is he doing in the off season? Or with all this time he's had off with injury? Beyond defense, a sign of great players is adding to their game during downtime. Well, this dude's had a ton of downtime and brings back nothing. At Duke, he showed range. In his first NBA game, you remember, he hit 4 3-pointers against the Spurs. That was a great night. But this makes you go, as well. Zion made 4 3-pointers his first game. He's made just 3 total since then. How is that possible? In fact, his range is so bad, Zion has attempted just 8 total shots outside the paint all season. He's a 65% free throw shooter, so maybe he's afraid to miss those shots? At this point though, this has got to be Ben Simmons level frustrating for Pelicans fans. That can't be all on Zion. A lot has to do with coaching, right? The Pelicans are next to last in 3-pointers taken as a team, and they allow the most 3-pointers as a team. Not a great formula in 2021. Does he really want to fulfill his potential? There's no way to know, but that is another thing that separates the greatest players from everyone else. Desire. Kobe Bryant called it the Mamba mentality. Michael Jordan took it personal. LeBron James makes it a lifestyle. I'm not saying Zion isn't one of those guys mentally, but it does take a year-round insane drive to be great, not just talent. Now, all of this sounds really negative about Zion Williamson, but I don't want him to be a bust. I want him to be that player at Duke in the NBA because he was so much fun to watch and easy to root for. And if that does happen, Zion just took a little while to develop, which is understandable. There are guys like Colin Sexton, who looked like a wasted pick at first, but by the second half of his second year was a totally different player. It makes sense. Some of these guys take a while to develop. They come into the league at 19 years old. Zion, though, was supposed to be different. At least that's what they told us. Hopefully, though, injuries is all that's derailed him, and that maturity is on the way. But so far, the trends we've seen are disturbing. Right now, Zion is an interior force, but he has so much more potential than that. The Pelicans at number 1 drafted a 2-way badass from Duke, and if he doesn't reach that potential, their future is doomed. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.